Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, the 70th has all but landed at Disneyland. Details on some attraction updates. You can listen to the 70th sounds already.
Magic keys are going back on sale just in time for a Keyholder 70th kickoff event. More merchandise. We finish our conversation with artist Jerrod and more. DL Weekly starts now.
This is your captain speaking to you from the wheelhouse. I'd like to welcome all of you aboard the DL Weekly podcast. For safe passage on our trip, please do not sit or climb on the outside railings. And be sure to watch your children. The water can be unpredictable in these parts, and we'd sure hate to lose any of you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of May 14th, 2025. I'm Tig Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to thank everyone who supports the show, but this week we would like to give a special shout out to Megan O.E., Josh S., Shelby R., and Sunshine and Bill B. for your continued support. If you would like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, access to our supporter-only chat, and a bunch of other really fun perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
It's also not too late to get in on our book club if you're interested in that. We'll be having the next meeting. I never have the calendar up. When is the next meeting?
The next meeting, we did have to push it back a week. We've been shooting for the first Sunday of every month, but Tag and I will be still in Disneyland on the 1st. So next meeting for book club will be Sunday, June 8th. And while we're talking about fun events, we do have our live streams this weekend. So one of the fun perks, if you're at the 10 or the cast member and above level, and above, we do a hangout, like a Zoom call hangout with everyone once a month. That's happening this Sunday, as well as our YouTube public live stream, also scheduled for this Sunday, the 18th. Tune in on our YouTube channel if you'd like to participate in the fun.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
Well, this week kicks off the 70th anniversary celebration, and the park is almost ready. Decorations have appeared all over the resort with Celebrate Happy branding. The Mickey floral at the entrance has been replanted, utilizing the celebration colors. The Disneyland monorail has a new wrap with the 70th celebration graphics. Sleeping Beauty Castle has received the Celebrate Happy logo above the drawbridge, and colorful bunting has been installed all along Main Street. A new mural is on display at Downtown Disney near the new entrance gates by Din Tai Fung. Finally, a 3D banner has been hung at Carthay Circle Theater on Buena Vista Street.
It's looking so good. I'm so excited for the kickoff. The one thing that really caught my eye was the monorail wrap. I feel like that's not, I don't know. They've been doing monorail wraps for these big celebrations. Of course, the last one we had was for the Disney 100 celebration. But for some reason, it didn't even occur to me. So this was a bit of a surprise for me. So that's why I was super excited about it. I also really love the entrance, what they've done with the Mickey floral. If you look at the actual swirls, I guess, of flowers around, I love how they kind of made the colors blend into each other so that it's the different pinks and the different purples. It looks so good. In fact, the photo that MiceChat shared, it almost doesn't look real. How vibrant and colorful it is. It looks almost like it's not real. So that I can't wait to see what that looks like in person.
Yeah, I was just trying to find out because the only wrap I've seen for the monorail has been just on monorail orange, because the monorail blue had the Disney 100 wrap.
I hope that one's still iridescent.
And there's still monorail Red, which I don't feel like I've seen on the beam for a while. So all I've seen is pictures of monorail orange. So I'm not sure about the other monorail vehicles. But yeah, I think there's something about this color scheme for this celebration that I particularly kind of enjoy. I don't normally like these colors by themselves, but I think all together for this celebration, I'm really kind of enjoying it. The castle, of course, looks great, and all the bunting. I'm
sure it's intentional, but the colors remind me of the it's a much brighter version of what the color scheme of the castle is, but it's still the blues, the pinks, the golds. Yeah, the only thing that I was a little disappointed about, I will say, is the castle itself. We kind of talked about this with the concept art. I just feel like I want more. I want more decor on the castle and not just the little thing right above the entrance there. I want, I don't know, more banners, something. I just want a little bit. I want to see a little more on the castle itself.
I wonder if it's just because of the fact that when they do that, it's the projections are
whatever.
whatever.
That's a good point.
I'm surprised by this like 3-dimensional banner that they put up on Carthay.
It looks good, doesn't it?
It does look very good.
I was surprised because what was that last week we reported that they're doing kind of like a little special projection show moment. So I was kind of surprised that they put something on because, again, like you just mentioned with the castle, that's going to be in, and I don't want to say in the way, but it kind of with when it comes to doing projections and such. So maybe it'll just be on the sides, or maybe that'll kind of come to life in a way. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just really looking at it here. I don't know. It's just I didn't expect it.
Yeah, and it's
I
classy.
think it looks so good. I wonder if the projection is going to like interact with this thing at all. That'd be really cool.
You know, another one that we weren't expecting that also looks super classy is up in the Grand Californians lobby. It is the 70th logo, emblem, whatever you want to call it, but in the color scheme of the Grand Californian. So it's like bronzes and like darker golds and browns. Looks wood. So good. It looks so classy. It's kind of amazing to think that it's the same logo because the other ones are so bright and colorful, and it just has such a different feel with the different color scheme, but it looks awesome. The other thing I want to mention real quick, I love these little things that they're doing at the entrance there of downtown Disney and the fun little murals they've got there. This one looks, again, awesome. Way to go, Disney.
We know how much you were all about the Pixar Fest thing in the middle of the Esplanade. What do you think of this one?
I'm curious. The thing I don't
It's very abstract.
fully like about the things that they do in the middle of the Esplanade is I don't, and I understand why, but I don't like the barrier wall thing, even when it's completed, that they kind of have on the bottom as a base. I get why they do that so that people aren't messing with it, climbing on it, that sort of thing. But it just makes it, I don't know, it takes away from the overall look of the piece, if that makes sense. The thing that's cool about this is that it looks like stained glass. So it's the light shining through the different pieces. Fun abstract of the castle. Each of the turrets have like weather vanes that represent different parts and different lands of the park. So I think that's really fun.
The opening day lands, it looks like.
Opening day lands, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have New Orleans Square, it doesn't have Galaxy's Edge. Doesn't have Mickey's Toontown.
That's true. Good call out.
I kind of like this though. Like, it reminds me of the thing of the Four Seasons for It's a Small World originally.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about it. I enjoy it.
Four Winds Tower, I think it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
I do too. I'm excited. I can't wait. We are very excited because we will be there in T-minus like 2 weeks at this point. So we're really excited to see, not just to see all of the amazing things people are going to be sharing on social media the next couple of days, but we'll actually get to see these things and experience them ourselves.
It's on my home screen 15 days as we record this.
Pretty exciting.
Yep.
Speaking of things that we're really excited to be able to experience, more details have been released about Toy Story Midway Mania changes for the 70th anniversary. There will be a number of 70 stickers placed throughout the games of the attraction, changing the values for those targets. So, for example, a 1,000-point target might now be worth 7,000 points instead.
Yeah. I was wondering how this was going to work out because they had kind of talked about this, and I was like, well, are they going to become 70 points and 7,000? Like, I didn't know. So I like it. It's got that, like, what was it, like the early 90s? There was that like hologram stickers that were everywhere. That's what they look like.
Yes.
And they're everywhere. They're on the targets. They're in between things. They're kind of everywhere in the attraction. And I don't know. I think this is, of the attractions that they could change, this, Star Tours, Smuggler's Run, like, they should do stuff like this more often, I feel like.
Have they ever changed this before? No. Like, that's what's also super cool about it.
I want to say they talked about it at some point that they were going to do this one, like, when it first opened, but then they never did, because they were going to add, like, different games and stuff.
Yeah. The thing that I think is wild about this is you can get a new high score now because you have different point values that have come into play. Because, I mean, come on, 1,000 all the way up to 7,000. That's huge in this game. So maybe there's hope for us, Tag. Maybe we can get a high score this next trip when we've got the bonus stickers working to our favor.
Well, the soundtrack for Celebrate Happy has now gone live on music streaming services. The album has the Celebrate Happy Jonas Brothers song, Rainbow Connection by Boyz II Men, and more. I meant to listen to this today, and I did not. Did you listen to it?
No, because the other times that I've listened to these songs separately from what they're meant for, so I'm thinking of I remember the first time we listened to Magic Happens, it didn't make it didn't feel like it made sense, and I didn't really like it that much that first time I heard it. But then when we heard it along with the parade, that's when the magic happened. So I feel like same thing with Wondrous. First time I heard Wondrous was not with the show, and it didn't really didn't click for me until I saw it with the show. So I've learned my lesson. I am not going to pre-listen to things until I get to experience them how they were intended for the first time.
Sure. Which is funny because I was just gonna play Celebrate Happy.
You go ahead. You can go ahead and do it.
So just to let you guys know, we paused for a second and listened to a sampling, and it seems chiller than I expected. But I think Teresa's right. When it's with everything else, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. But if you're interested in listening, go check it out. We have links in the show notes to Apple Music, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
Well, just in time for the 70th anniversary, Magic Key sales are reopening on May 20th. Inspire and Believe passes are going to reopen no earlier than 9 a.m. Disneyland time on the 20th. But act fast. These keys will only be available while supplies last.
I think that now is a great time to become a Magic Key holder, only because there's so many extra things they've added to the program, like all these things you can get. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute, but there are some things that you can get.
There's special dining experiences. Yeah. There's special menu options that you can unlock at certain locations around the resort. There's special merch, all sorts of, and like we said, we're going to talk about something that goes along with the 70th, but they have all of these fun little extras for Magic Key holders. And good reminder that if you are a current Magic Key holder, don't forget to check your app every once in a while and look at that Magic Key portal to see what fun, cool things are happening, because they some of these things get a lot of people talk about it over on social media. Other things I don't think people find as noteworthy or something, I suppose, because there was one that just happened a couple days ago that there was a pre-sale for 70th merch for Magic Key holders that I didn't really get covered much on social media, but that's a cool, fun perk to go shop before the masses are trying to also get all the same merch. So lots of fun stuff.
Well, Magic Key holders are going to have an opportunity to attend a special 70 Years of Happy kickoff event from May 27th through June 2nd. Key holders can stop by the Hyperion Courtyard for photo ops, a photo booth with complimentary prints, and a Paint the Night parade poster. Monday through Friday, the area is open from 3:30 to 8 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
This looks so cool, and I'm not just talking about the amazing Paint the Night poster that you get. I'm loving this. Did you get a chance to look at this poster?
I saw the poster, yep.
I've already decided, okay, we need to pack some sort of tube or something to protect our posters so that they don't get crunched in travel coming back home. Because this, I want to put this on my wall, this poster. It's so good. So bright, so vibrant. It definitely I feel it really captures the parade and the energy of the parade. Super well done. And again, just for Magic Key holders. But I'm also just stoked because it just so happens that May 27th through June 2nd, we will actually be in the park. So this is a fun Magic Key perk that we'll actually be able to participate in, because we're not always there when these fun, cool things happen. So I'm really curious to see what all they're doing inside that courtyard over at the Hyperion Theater.
Yeah. One of the other things that's on this as well is the Napoleon sampler that's over in Golden Horseshoe. We tried that when we were there. Wonderful experience. Again, that's only for Magic Key holders. Galactic Grill has a box of sliders combo, it looks like. You can get a Magic Key mirrored Mickey-shaped sipper, and, of course, the Magic Key Terror stuff. So there's all types of crazy stuff that's always going on. There's a 70th celebration Magic Key insulated cooler bag that you can get.
That has been blowing up. People have been so excited about that insulated cooler bag. And it's actually not, when you look at everything that comes with it, it's not that much more of upcharge or an extra charge to get that insulated bag because you get popcorn and you also get a bottled beverage, whether it's water or soda, along with the bag. And the artwork on the bag's gorgeous. And it's got like separate little compartments in there, so it's easy to carry your stuff around the parks. Plus, I'm sure it doubles as a great like lunchbox, so you can have some magic with you during your work day. So
I didn't even know. Look, see right there, just us checking it. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Pretty darn cool. Well, speaking of, we're gonna have issues this next trip. Speaking of cool things, right?
Good issues.
Yeah, good issues. We're going to need all of the suitcase space on the way back because new 70th merchandise has hit the shelves in park. The Celebration collection dropped this past week. This collection includes characters and attractions in the bold Celebrate Happy colors. To see the vast array of merchandise, check out all the links in the show notes because they also had parts of the Vault collection and the Castle collection drop as well. So no shortage of awesome merchandise.
You're going to think I'm ridiculous, and this is not something you can buy, but I really want this topper for the merchandise spot that says 70 at Disneyland on it.
It's good. I like the logo. It's simple, but it's grown on me.
I love this Celebrate Happy, colorful, like, what is this, a sweater?
Or like a
long sleeve t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really good. I actually think I might buy these sweatpants.
Look at you.
Because they look great. This hoodie looks amazing.
Do you see this backpack?
Yes.
I just love the like colorful Disneyland D that they've got on there, and like the print of Disneyland itself is in that kind of rainbow of colors as well.
I want this baseball tee as a regular tee just for the front.
Oh, yeah, sure. I was like, wow, you're even going to get like that's totally not something. What are your feelings of all the hats that they've released, Tag?
I don't need more hats.
Are you
is
sure?
What I feel. Yes.
Did you look at all the links that I put in here?
Yes. The only one that I'm going to get is
I think I know.
One specific one that I was like, need to get that one.
This one right here.
No, it wasn't that one. No.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I mean, I thought about it, but I'm like, it's a little too blingy for me.
So for reference, there's a black baseball cap that has the Disneyland D in like, I don't know, it looks like it's gold, but I can't tell from the photo if it's embroidered or if it's like a little emblem type thing. And then it also says Disneyland 70 in smaller print underneath. There's also a blue cap that has Mickey in his celebration outfit as a patch on the front, and then on the side it says Disneyland 70th in the kind of more like colorful Celebrate Happy colors. I'm shocked. I thought for sure both of those hats. I thought that black hat was going to be in your
because
bag,
the thing is, I'm trying to be better because I own a bunch of Disney hats, and I feel like there's so many Disney hats,
and they're so good.
I mean, they are, but like I need to chill.
I'm struggling with ears.
I kind of want this Disneyland pillow. I love the Disneyland D emblem thing. I also want there's an ornament that was somewhere that I saw that I was like, oh, I really want that too. Anyway, talk about the ears.
That's the hat you wanted, right? The one that has the little propeller on it.
No, I definitely do not want that. I thought about this white one that's kind of plain and reminded me of like the first one I went to Disneyland because that has that old like classic castle logo that was around a lot in the whatever. What I really want is I want this pack of stickers.
Ooh, yes.
And there's
everything. I just want everything in the Vault collection.
I think it was the tickets here, the ticket book situation. I really wanted.
There's a ticket book like ornament, and then there's also, it looks like a notepad that has like the ticket book in it too. The Vault really collection's cool gonna be the death of us,
but it's gonna be expensive. And then of course the key, which we learned about.
The interactive key.
The key makes noise and plays sounds from each of the lands.
So we're talking about the key to Disneyland, which I think we talked about. That was one of the first things they announced with merch, and we were super excited because you get this key. It looks like it's about the size of one of the bubble wands. It is not like small key. It is it's large, a big large key, and you get to unlock the different lands of Disneyland. And they had a media event today that we then got to see the key in action, and you basically go to each land. There's going to be a different station, and you go unlock the land at those stations, and you collect different lights on the key and different sounds as you go. And then once you're finished, so when you start, your key is just white. It only has white lighting. And as you go, more colors are added, more sounds are added until you get to the finish, which when you put your key in the finish, Spoiler alert for those of you that don't want to know.
Magic spoilers.
There's like bubbles and everything that come out of the Mickey topiary, and it's this fun, cool, magical moment. And then the key has a secret compartment that opens, and there are these.
We reported that there were 2 of them, but there are 9.
I'm so sad.
Pins.
There are 9 pins, and they're all amazing. They're all the Disneyland D, and then they have different emblems with them. So there's like the partners statue in the Disneyland D. There's the castle in the Disneyland D. What were some of the other ones we saw?
Jungle Cruise boat. Mm-hmm. There was the candelabra from Haunted Mansion. There was Space Mountain.
I'm sad about this because I want all of these pins, and it's a mystery which one you get, so you can't guarantee which pin you get if you do this key experience. But there's absolutely no way that I'm purchasing 9 of these in the hopes that I get all 9 of the pins, because we're not entirely sure what the price of this is going to be. We've seen some folks reporting as low as $50 up to $65, so somewhere in the $50 to $75 range is what we're assuming. Again, they're not on sale yet, so we don't know for sure. But man,
I also want this pin.
I'm like disappointed that the key and the pins are so good, because I just don't know what I'm gonna. Yeah, between the 2 of us, 1 key will happen for sure. Tag really wants one. I just don't know what I'm doing with the key when I'm done with it. And I don't know if I need to start
it makes all the
trying
noises.
To get the pins, because the pins are so good. I don't know if you all know this, but I have a soft spot for the Disneyland D pins. Anytime that they have those mystery pins and they have the Disneyland D, I just have to have them. I love them. So this is like my Achilles heel, because it's fun and interactive, and it's got good pins.
This gives me flashbacks to COVID times when there was the Princess Castle collection.
Yeah,
that we got a couple pins into, and we're like, we've made a mistake.
So
anyway.
Good. But yeah, the other cool thing too that I wanted to talk about is some of the different Magic Band interaction things are popping up around the parks. One of them is Tilly on Main Street. You can now go interact with her. She's over at the Main Street Cinema. She's the ticket taker there. So you can interact with her, ticket taker booth, and a little something prints out at you, kind of like how the fortune tellers have little things that print out at you. I'm excited about this, because everyone knows I have not really understood the need for Magic Bands at Disneyland Resort as it currently was, because really you could use them as your park ticket or as like
photo pass.
That
was the best use of them,
and it would light up and vibrate during shows and stuff. But I just love the interactive part, so I'm really, really excited about that. When we're done, I'm going to start charging my Magic Band now to make sure that it's ready in 2 weeks and that we can go, because I'm really excited to see how the different interactions work.
Well, guests staying at the Grand Californian have their entrance to Disney California Adventure open again. Guests staying at the Pixar Place Hotel will have to use this entrance, as their private entrance is now getting the new turnstiles.
When one door closes, another one opens. Or when one door opens, another one closes, I guess, more like. But like Tag said, this is because they're updating to the new turnstiles that have the take your own photo and facial recognition thing, and have the clear gates that hopefully, once everyone gets used to them, will help speed things through a little bit more. But just a heads up, if you are staying at the Pixar Place, your dedicated entrance is under construction right now, but you do get to use the one over at the Grand.
David of Fresh Baked has been keeping an eye on the lines since the news turnstiles have been turned on and people have been using them, and he said that already this week is much better than last week, so people are getting used to it.
Yeah, that's good. Some of the ongoing construction projects are also wrapping up. The Golden Horseshoe has a new paint scheme with lighter coloring and darker yellow and gold colors swapping places, and there's also a celebrating 70 years banner that's up. It's a Small World was pushed back to May 13th, that's today as we're recording, from May 9th, just for some checkups and adjustments of the attraction. We have seen ride-through videos, though, and the new area in the Mexico scene with Dante and Miguel looks really, really nice.
It does look really nice. This is an interesting thing with the Golden Horseshoe, because I remember when it got repainted to its previous style where it was a lot darker. Mm-hmm. And I was reading some comments in the Mice Chat article today. It was talking about it reminded me that it used to be this lighter color, and they kind of like swapped it for a few years, and now it's back to this lighter color, which kind of is more reminiscent of like opening day look, I guess.
Well, it makes sense, right? The golden horseshoe, there's a lot more gold going on with the facade now. I'm
excited for whenever they get it looks like they're still working on the like actual signage. I'm guessing it's going to have some golden accents and stuff. Right now they just have some banner up. I
kind of like the banner. Even if they leave the banner for the duration of the 70th, I would be totally okay with that. Yeah. I think it works.
I got sidetracked this morning. I was trying to find somebody who was at the park live streaming this morning because I wanted to see if the other monorail had a different wrap or not. And I got sidetracked watching somebody wander around. This one streamer that I was watching went on It's a Small World 3 times in a row. I'm sure Vern would love that one. But he walked by this, and actually there's a sign at the end of this banister that is the sign, like the main sign. Yeah. And then they just had these banners in the front. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if like that's always been there and I just never noticed or what, but just something different. I'm glad that pretty soon it'll be, this picture from SnackChat still has the walls up, but actually the walls are all down now.
Yeah. Getting closer.
I up, down, touch the ground. I think of things to chew, like honey and milk and chocolate. With a hefty, happy appetite, I'm a hefty, happy poo. A rumbly in my tumbly means it's time for snacks.
Well, this week in SnackChat, we have yet another foodie guide to go over.
Not enough new food at Disneyland.
So much new food. This time, though, this is new bites coming to the hotels for the summer. This is pretty exciting. There's all sorts of treats. We get to talk about some new menu items on the actual restaurant menus. There's the new character dining experience. That's a dinner dining experience. So go ahead, kick us off, Tag, with Donald's Tales of Adventure.
Yeah, Donald's Tales of Adventure Dinner Buffet is coming to the Grand Californian at Storytellers, where Donald, Daisy, and some of their friends will have new Explorer outfits. That is starting with the 70th anniversary on May 16th. You can go ahead and get reservations for that now.
This will be fun because it's the first time you're going to be able to enjoy like character dining in the evenings, because usually character dining is like daytime and breakfast thing. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, camp style barbecue buffet.
I was curious to see.
It will be delicious.
Oh, menu pricing. I totally just skipped right over it. It's from 4 to 9 p.m. and it is $62 per adult and $36 per child. Includes baby back, spare ribs, slow roasted prime rib with creamy horseradish, fried chicken, creamed corn, a variety of vegetables and salads, s'mores bread pudding, sweets and confectionaries, and an array of beverages.
Pretty fun. Ooh. There's going to be new stuff at the Grand Californian Spa starting at the cart, the Great Hall cart. There's a Daisy loaf cake, which looks very cute. Clarabelle macarons, crispy rice treat for Goofy. That one's super cute. It looks like a photo frame. Like he's in his fisherman's best, and it looks like it's a photo frame. Pluto whoopie pie, which is also very adorably themed. Pretzel rod sticks, as well as wildflower honey.
So the Pluto whoopie pie and the pretzel rod sticks are two things that I definitely want to try.
You know, the whoopie pie is on my list as well, and I'm curious about what the Daisy loaf cake is. I need more info. What flavor?
Yeah, they didn't give a description, which is kind of odd.
And I also just really adore the Clarabelle macarons just because of Clarabelle.
Well,
she's like screen printed on a couple of them. It's very, very cute.
At the GCH Craftsman Bar, we have the Farmer's Market Frittata. There's an avocado toast on sourdough, a salmon salad, which I definitely going to describe this one quick. Cucumber, avocado, tomato, sweet peppers, farro, charred green onions, shallots, Valbresso feta, champagne vinaigrette, and arugula. That sounds I love salmon.
Yeah, it does.
They have a Wagyu burger, a sticky chicken wings, and a shrimp ceviche.
Yum. Look at that. Moving on over to the Disneyland Hotel over at Tongaroa Terrace, Tropical Bar and Grill. We've got for breakfast some new items, including an ube stuffed French toast.
Is that what this is?
That is what that is. Doesn't that look amazing? Good. There's an ube stuffed French toast. So it's Japanese milk bread, coconut custard, ube, diplomat cream, and fresh tropical fruit. It looks
so good.
So good, so refreshing. There's a lomi salmon sandwich, a Korean-style breakfast sandwich, as well as tropical pancakes, which are macadamia nut butter pancakes, passion fruit curd, and toasted coconut.
We reported on that last time, didn't we? Isn't that what
I don't remember if we reported on it or if we were just geeking out about it in our Discord chat.
Sure. It could be
both.
Looks very good, though.
But it needs to be mentioned again because yum.
Yeah. At the Tangaroa Terrace Tropical Bar and Grill for lunch and dinner, there's a chili orange glazed chicken wings, a Szechuan cucumber salad. To give you an idea of what's in that, there's a Chinese 5-spice, fresh garlic and scallions, toasted sesame seeds, and hot oil vinaigrette. It's all plant-based. There's a coconut ice cream, a passion fruit sorbet.
Yum. Yum, yum, yum. So the other thing that's really interesting here is Trader Sam's also has these items minus the ice cream and the sorbet added to their menu as well. But the thing that I'm curious about is they have breakfast items there. We were talking about this in Discord. I don't remember if Trader Sam's has been open for breakfast before. I don't think the interior, like the bar area, has been open. Maybe they've had breakfast but only served outside. So that was interesting to me that they've got that Trader Sam's has breakfast items now. But they also have a bunch of new beverages. We've got the Madre Mia, a summer swing, seawater spritz, a sparkling purple gin, spiced vodka rosé, apple bourbon punch, Eternal Inquiry, cucumber mint vodka cooler, and then a few different beers and wines as well.
At the Palm Breeze Bar, for those of you who don't remember where this is that bar that's part of the new DVC tower.
Yeah.
So we've got some new stuff there. They have a margarita pizza, which looks really good in this photo here. An ahi tuna tartar tian. A guacamole and lime scented tortilla chips. A crisp falafel fattoush with lemon hummus. Toasted quinoa and baby kale, a Caesar salad, a Southwest chicken sandwich, a grilled prime flat iron steak, a pan-roasted salmon, that sounds very good, and adult chicken tenders with French fries.
I love that it's specifically adult chicken tenders.
I wonder what that means. Are they going to be
I wonder if they only had it on the kids menu before.
Sure.
Is just my total wild guess, but adults love chicken tenders too. Gosh darn it. It's seriously one of my favorites. But speaking of, the coffee house also has new stuff. There's a chopped shaker salad, a Mediterranean shaker salad, a ham and cheese croissant sandwich, as well as some new drinks. We've got iced agave agua fresca, iced sour mango, a summer floral soda, and an iced yuzu espresso, which is an espresso shot, yuzu syrup, and mineral water.
At Goofy's Kitchen, they have some new drinks there. They have a frozen pina colada, a margarita flight, a frozen premium margarita, a bramble, which is Tito's handmade vodka, Chambord, agave nectar syrup, lime juice, and mint. They also have some seltzers and ciders and Rieslings and stuff there as well, and a sparkling cocktail flight, which has a strawberry vodka, a spiced margarita, a passion fruit gin fizz, and sparkling rum with Piper Sonoma Brut.
Interesting. The Broken Spell Lounge, which I feel like a bad fan because I kind of forget that this is open and inside of the Disneyland Hotel, but it's got an ahi tuna tataki, which sounds really delicious. We've got jumbo shrimp cocktail, Southwest chicken sandwich. There's a forced mushroom farro risotto, as well as fish and chips. You can get the margarita pizza here as well. And then they've got these really cool looking drinks. Like, one looks like it's a flight and has like potion bottles.
Yeah.
And then the other one is in this like tall stemmed glass and is like smoking. There's not descriptions of
what are they called,
what the drinks are, but one is called the Benevolent Fairy and the other is called the Raven's Wing. They just look really cool. They do look
really cool.
We have not gone there yet. We may have to try and like intentionally go over to check that out. Maybe before or after the hangout, since we'll be on the Disneyland Hotel grounds at that point. But I don't know. The breakfast items at Tangaroa are really kind of calling my name, so we may have to go.
But there's also breakfast items in the park now, too.
I
don't think we have enough time to try all of it.
Nor the stomach space.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to need to like plan out our food ahead of this trip. but we definitely need to try and plan out what food we want ahead of this trip because there's so many new things to try.
People that you book vacations for that are going to Disneyland this summer, are you telling them like to make sure that they add extra days for food?
Yeah, yes, exactly. So when I'm helping people with concierge,
so confused.
I was like,
what?
Where? What? Oh, yeah. I'm like, I was still stuck on like Broken Spell Lounge and our own food list. But yeah, no, that's one of the things that we talk about when we do vacation planning is food. Some people like us that are foodies, you need to go in with a food plan and you need to know what options are available. But then other people really just like to kind of experience it organically and just kind of discover what they discover. So, yeah.
There's never a better time than now to be a local magic key holder.
Whenever they come out with these foodie guides or have the food festivals and such, that's when I'm like, man, perfect. If I was a local, I would be there every weekend so I could try all the things. All the things.
Well, they all look so good.
They do.
Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Tag and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. Oh, so much news. Quite a lot of it is about Disneyland, and your hosts are perfectly capable of talking about that. I guess I'll have to look a little bit further afield this week for some bigger trips. How about Greece and Switzerland? That's right, we are heading into Adventures by Disney territory, now with even more new destinations. In case you haven't been keeping track of the Adventures by Disney portfolio of experiences, they now exceed 40 different tours. Each destination includes experienced Disney tour guides to arrange meals, hotels, transportation, and amazing activities throughout your trip. But back to these two new locations, huh? The new Switzerland adventure was created to mimic the destinations visited by Walt and Lillian on their own European trips. You can visit chocolate and cheese shops to learn about how these iconic Swiss treasures are made. Tour scenic castles and majestic lakes. Switzerland is home to the largest museum of Olympic Games memorabilia in the world. After a trip to the museum, you will likely be ready to witness the grandeur of the Matterhorn mountain itself. I'm sure you all have heard the story of Walt sending a postcard of the Matterhorn back home with the simple instruction to his Imagineers, build that mountain. Now you can do the same. Send a postcard to your own friends and tell them to build the Matterhorn. The Swiss vacation is an 8-day itinerary and is only offered 9 times through 2026. If you're interested, it's probably best to get rolling on those reservations now. Don't sleep on the Grecian tour, though. Through 2026, you can depart on one of 10 tours through the lore and culture of the Mediterranean. If your dream vacation allows you to snorkel over sunken ruins, this is your trip. On your tour of Greece, you can also explore the Acropolis of Athens and ancient theaters. Visit the port of Nafplio, the original capital of the country. Your trip even includes a visit to Rhodes, the site of the Colossus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Both of these destinations are available for booking now. Ask one of our planners for rates and dates. I know, you come here for the deals. Well, you've heard from me before about the cruises to and from Australia and New Zealand. On select voyages, your crew can get up to 30% off of your voyage in September and October 2025 and February 2026. This is not on every trip, so definitely ask us for availability. Also, let's reiterate that 30% off. And if you ever wanted to take the kids to the Galapagos or to Iceland, you are in luck. On select voyages through National Geographic tours in 2025 and 2026, travelers age 22 and younger can accompany a traveler aged 23 or older for 50% off of their fare. That's a lot of numbers, folks, so maybe hit the back button a couple times and listen to it again. This is a huge deal on the sorts of trips that your family will never forget. I think I need to look into some of these details on those voyages myself. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and Concy Ears. Then reach out to your personal travel planner, Teresa. She looks forward to planning something special for you and yours. I am Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
DL Weekly announces the boarding of the Trivia Express, non-stop star speeder service to the moon of Endor. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Trivia Land.
You know, this is not your normal welcome to Trivia Land.
He sounds confused. Do you even want to be here? I don't know if we want to be here. If you're not sure.
It's just really toasty right now.
It is.
So some of those foodie guide, not foodie guide, but SnackChat drinks did sound a little refreshing.
There you go.
Telling you.
So maybe we just have to take over. But I've got 4 questions for you this week, and we'll see how you do.
All right.
Question number 1 from listener Daniel C. Daniel asks, what company was the original sponsor and operator of the Market House on Main Street?
Oh, was it Folgers?
Maxwell House. I don't know why. It's probably just because it has an M in the name.
Competing coffee choices. Very nice.
I mean, and Teresa's the coffee person.
That doesn't mean I got this one in the bag. That does not mean I know this. Because I was pretty confident in Folgers until you said Maxwell House. I'm like, maybe it was that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. You might be right, but for some reason I got a tickle in my brain that was like, no.
You might be right.
M.
It could be. It's all possible. Our second question, I want to know, what is the capacity on King Arthur's Carousel according to the cast member that we met while we were there?
Oh goodness.
Oh, boy.
It was like ridiculous, I think. Like it doesn't seem like it would hold that much, but then I think I remember saying, oh, well, it is like 3 things and whatever.
Yeah.
My joy with this question is when we were talking to the cast member takes, like, you're writing that down and you're going to ask that and I'm not going to remember it at all.
You
I don't
had
remember
an
it.
in and you forgot.
He was there.
Are you surprised?
No, you are living up to your word.
For some reason, I don't know if it's because of all of the 70th talk, but 70 people is what's sticking out in my brain for some who knows what reason. So I'm just going with it.
130.
70, 130.
Ooh, that's quite the gap we got there.
It is.
It had a lot because I remember thinking that was a really large number. And then when I started looking around, I'm like, this is a lot bigger of a carousel. And you've got the outer rim, which has a lot. And then you got the next inner rim, which has slightly fewer. And then the inner rim. Is there 3 or 4 rings of... There might be 4.
There might be. Yeah, I don't...
So see, when you add all that up,
yeah,
your 70 doesn't seem like very much.
We'll see.
Now I'm thinking that I should have said like 170.
Wow.
Maybe that's why 70 was in my
No, I'm
brain.
gonna leave it at 130
Leave it there.
or whatever I said.
All right. I'll make it a little easier for you on your third question. True or false? The Matterhorn used to be considered part of Tomorrowland.
I think that's true.
Ooh.
I think that's true.
I'm going false.
Look at us, just keep.
Yeah, we are not on the same.
Splitting
We're not
today.
in the same Matterhorn sled.
You're not in the same bobsled?
Yeah, we're not in the same bobsled.
Well, you're on the Tomorrowland side, and
Yeah.
I'm on the Fantasyland side. Or wait, I'm on the
You're on the
Tomorrowland side. You're
I'm
on the
on
Fantasyland side.
Yeah, one of you's going a little faster than the other, maybe a little more right.
And it's got that cool drop that goes under the other.
I'm I almost wonder if it just wasn't part of a land for some time. Tomorrowland
definitely
just
was
does
part
not
of a
make
land.
Sense. Holiday Hill Land.
There you go.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
All right, my last question for you. We're going to throw it back to a Lost in the Park. So, can you find me? Or do you know where I am?
I mean, you're in Trivia Land right now.
I am in Trivia Land. That is correct. I wish I could
Free
give you a
points,
point
Teresa.
for that.
Good job,
but-
us.
I should. I really should. But I think you'll be able to find me. I believe in you. Because after enjoying a performance by Five and Dime, I head east down the street.
East. You've already lost me.
Okay, go down Hollywood Boulevard.
But I can tell I'm already getting tired. Too much vibing with the music, So I take my first left from the path and find a place to my right to sit. Where am I?
You're at the Hollywood stage that's back there.
Yeah, I was going to say, or the first thing, there's these really cool carved out benches that are like attached to the Smoothies building or Smoothies building.
Schmoozies, yeah.
So that would be your first place to sit, but I feel like that's not a good spot for like when you're, getting lost and on the map. So yeah, the Hollywoodland Theater. What do they call that?
The Hollywoodland stage.
Yeah, Hollywoodland stage.
Or the Hollywood stage or something like that.
Something like that, probably. Sure. We'll go with it. Am I there, though? You'll have to wait until after the discussion topic to find that out and everything else we talked about.
You should have gone right to the Animation Academy, but,
Are you happy that even though the main room is closed, that they have a side entrance for the Animation Academy?
I'm a little sad. I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll be able to do that because it'll be like the secret entrance like the Haunted Mansion used to have that no longer exists.
I think they should...
Secret entrance of the Animation Academy.
I think they should
cool
add
experience.
a second Animation Academy theater.
I think so, too. It's becoming so popular. The demand is definitely there.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we continue our conversation with artist Jerrod.
You were part of the kickoff and the start of Wonderground. Can you tell us kind of what the history and how Wonderground got started and what those first few years were like? Because as you said, it has changed, it has evolved.
Yeah.
What was that kind of like, and how did that come to be, if you know?
Yeah. I don't really know. So being a freelance artist, I wasn't involved in like the conceptual aspect of it. So they would just reach out to all of us artists and we weren't supposed to say anything. So even I think among the artists, we weren't talking to each other about it. You didn't want to ask in case they didn't
right.
or something like that. So it was just very like solitary. You didn't get a lot of information. It was sort of an extra thing at the time. So everyone that was working on it from the Disney side had normal responsibilities, and then they were working on Wonderground sort of extra. So the interns were a big part of that at the time. And so we dealt a lot with the interns, but they had such a great eye for what the young generation or the current generation would want to see. So like Hipster Mickey, for example, it was submitted, it was kind of like a joke and everyone kind of thought it was funny. And then they weren't going to use it because they're always concerned about how they use Mickey and stuff like that. But the interns really liked it and pushed for it. And so they took that as a sign that this is something, we should do or try out. So from that perspective, like the interns, the younger people that were working on it really helped develop the style. But in a matter of 10 years, that changes quite a bit. So, even now Hipster Mickey looks dated. That clothing is no longer what people would wear now. So it's kind of like Tomorrowland, where Wonderground has to kind of keep reinventing itself and keep changing and evolving to the current standards. And that's harder to do because once it's established at the beginning that this is what it is, then that could change in the next 5 years or something like that. So how do you maintain that? Mm-hmm. But in those early days, it was just that sometimes they would have a theme and they'd tell us to create something based around a theme, whether that's general, like heroes and villains or something. So you still had quite a bit of leeway what you can do. They did a lot more merchandise back then. So you'd create the art and it would be art, but they would also do mugs and t-shirts and stuff like that. They don't do that so much anymore. It's pretty much just the art. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just kind of developed like that. And then it sort of took a little while, but it did sort of catch on. And then it became sort of a thing that a lot of artists wanted to do. And again, I lucked out to be part of the opening group and to stay. So then I got people asking me, like, how do we get into there? It's the same thing. Yeah. Like they would go to all the cons. They still do. Like they go to Comic-Con and they go to Designer Con and goes and scout new artists or new styles and things like that. But like I would get emails from like the old Disney animators, like from the hand-drawn era, and they'd be like, how do we get into Wonderground? I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's ridiculous.
You're asking me?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so I would pass that on.
I don't know.
Yeah. But again, they really wanted to get something new and contemporary. They didn't want it to look like all the other merchandise that you see everywhere. So they were kind of specific, and not all of it worked. Not all of it took off, but it was still interesting to go in there and look at, what was new. And they did turn over stuff quite a bit. It did change, like I think every 3 months or something, they had a new program that was in there. So it was very different. It was a very experimental model for them. Yeah. And that has since kind of gone away since starting that. But yeah, at the beginning when they were really doing it, they kind of were left alone. A lot of people weren't as involved. And so now it's become more of just a regular store in the many stores that Disney has in the different areas. Like it was in Florida, but Not so much anymore. We just got absorbed into that Art of Disney store.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not really so much a brand anymore as it was at the beginning. And that's too bad. But just like D Street, and where Vinylmation was so huge, and we never thought that would go away. And then eventually that did just go away, So it's kind of like that too.
I'm starting to get worried a little bit because you're talking about things going away. I'm starting to get worried that like pins are kind of waning a little bit. Well, because for a while there, it felt like pins were like literally everywhere, and like there's still a lot of pins, but I just feel like it's not as, I don't know, just to me it doesn't feel like it's as hot as it was.
I kept thinking that too. Like I always thought, oh, pins won't last, like it'll be a big thing and then it'll go away, but that has really stuck around from the beginning. And I think the trading aspect, of course, is really what keeps it alive and stuff. And then you got, it's easy for kids to get into it. And that's fun to go up to the cast members and, so I think it's like you keep roping them in when they're young and then they grow up into it. And, it's such an easy thing to buy and to either give as a gift or to say, oh, every time I go to the park, I'm going to get a new pin to represent that trip or something like that. So you can be sort of a casual person. You can be like a crazy person, and it just runs the gambit. But, it's not like Lorcana or like Pokemon where you have to kind of understand what's happening and everything. It's just this very passive, easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I get worried about the pins because they're so, like you said, like they're accessible and they're not, in terms of Disney souvenirs, they're pretty affordable.
Plus they're easy to pack.
They're easy to pack. like for us flying and stuff, like, I mean, I bought a lightsaber when Galaxy's Edge opened, and I remember walking around. Teresa makes fun of me this all the time because, like, how do we deal with this on a ride?
We went to the Matterhorn and we had to do like a rider swap, like we had a child with us. I was like, this is different.
I know they have to design like new lockers just for lightsabers.
Right.
And there's so many like different designs. Like it's so versatile as like a souvenir. It's almost like T-shirts or hats, right? Like you can find so many different. So I just get worried that like they're gonna go away because I love the pins so much, and so
I think it's like the ears. I don't think ears will ever go away.
Well, those have been around since the beginning, right? Like Mickey Mouse Club?
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I think before the parks even, they probably had ears. Yeah, so I think with pins, though, like, because even I'll say, like, oh, no more pins. I'm not getting any more pins. I have too many pins, and I don't need any more pins. But then you always like, oh, that's a great pin.
Yeah.
You feel compelled to buy it, and
then throw in the lovely blind and mystery boxes.
Oh,
got the blind packs and the mystery boxes, and then you're just
Don't mind her. She's in the corner, like trying to feel the edges of the pin.
You have to. I think that Disney especially, it really attracts that collector thing. So to combine Disney and Star Wars and Marvel, you've just got this addiction prone people that come to it, and I think that just kind of constantly feeds it. I know that there used to be more like when they'd release a new pin, there'd be lines and stuff. And I don't know that we're seeing as much of that anymore, probably for certain ones. But like even the Pixar store, the one that's located in the studio in Emeryville, they had to stop doing pins because those pins were so limited. People were going too crazy for them. And like even employees would buy them to sell them. And like I did one pin design for them, and it was on eBay for like $500. And so they just didn't want to have that be a thing, so they kind of just stopped doing pins altogether. So, if they do it limited like that, it angers a lot of people, but it still sort of drives them to want that pin. So, But I remember too, in the series pack, the very first D23, we went nuts and bought all the pins, and they released them like, oh, Thursday's pin is this, and Friday's pin is this. Got a bunch of them. Nobody cared. Everybody bought those pins. No one wanted them. No one wanted them. You couldn't sell them. You couldn't. The only people that sold them were the people that immediately sold it, that bought it and had that eBay thing ready to go. And while the event was going on, then people wanted it. But after that, nope. Everyone had those pins.
So first of all, because you're talking about things selling out and craze, has there been anything that you've designed that was like everybody is like, I must have this? Other than the Pixar
it's weird. Like for me, the one they did a hipster Mickey vinyl figure, and it was kind of big, and it was like $75, so it wasn't super cheap, and it didn't sell out immediately. But that is the most requested thing I get now, where people are looking for that. They didn't get it at the time. They thought it would always be there, that they'd come back and get it, and that is the one thing I still get requests for, that because people always tend to think that I have some kind of warehouse of my merch that I can just pull it off the shelf and send it your way and stuff. But I get
You've got the artwork.
Yeah.
I got the artwork, yeah. But that was the one thing where I was so sad that it didn't sell out like crazy immediately. But since that, it did sell out eventually. It just took longer than we thought. And then, yeah, I still get requests for those vinyl dolls.
Wow.
But I think that's probably one of the only things that went nuts.
You're
Like
doing
that.
better than those D23 pins because people are
Yes.
still
They
trying to
want
find
still,
it.
Yeah.
I did not realize I want to bring it back to something you said like a long time ago in our conversation at this point. You talked about the guide map, and I just came across it on your Instagram.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was thinking that it was like a little icon next to the map. No, it is the cover of the Hong Kong Disneyland guide map.
Yeah.
You undersold this story because in my mind it was like maybe a little icon that was like the baby changing station or something.
Yeah.
This is a full Mickey Mouse on the front of the guide map.
Yeah, and they did a few different ones that kind of came out throughout the time. And so it's little things like that you rarely get, you don't campaign for that. It's just something they decide to do. So yeah, that kind of stuff's always very special to me, even though it's something that people probably throw away. Most people will just toss or leave in the garbage or something. But yeah, for me, it's exciting to see.
There could be so many of those living in people's like memory boxes, which, that'll bring joy to them for years to come.
That's true for all Disney stuff. You never know because people are so good about keeping that stuff or putting it in a box and stuff. So, I mean, like I have cups and napkins from the early days of, Disneyland because I liked the design of it. Even in Japan, I just bought some popcorn that was prepackaged because I really liked the Peter Pan design they did on it. And it'll go in a box, but I'll keep it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With merch, and then we can kind of move off of merch. Is there anything that your stuff ends up on that is like your favorite? So like, I don't know, we'll say like if it's anytime that they put your stuff on a pin that you have to have a copy of that, or is it just kind of based on what the collection or their theme is?
I think, initially it was every time there was something new, I'd get excited. So like pins definitely are still exciting to see because they don't do them as much as they used to as far as the artist series and stuff. But like when we did the whole Home Good line and they did the Dooney and Burke purses, that was very exciting to see. And that was like one of the things my mom was really interested in, wanting a certain one and that kind of thing. And there's a whole culture around that too with the Doonies and stuff. So it's whenever it goes somewhere where you're not expecting it to go, that's very exciting for me. But I don't know that there's one category. Anytime it's figural too. Like, so when we did the blind box toys, we did a Small World line, we did a Haunted Mansion line, and we did like a General Park line. I love that. I because I'm such a collector of figures and toys, I love it when they do dimensional stuff from my flat art.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I'm fast. Like I'm literally, it's
He's
like a
just
scrolling, and Instagram just keeps showing me more and more, and I'm like, I want kind of all of this. And actually, what keeps popping up for me? It's not, why is it tangentially Disney?
That was my next question is we've been focusing all on the different designs and art that you've done for Disney. What are some other things that you have done for other either studios, properties, whatever?
I've been so lucky. Like I've been able to check off the list of so many of my like childhood favorite things. I've done Muppets art, I've done Star Wars, I've done like for Netflix, did Stranger Things stuff, got to do Batman for Warner Brothers and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So all of these things that I loved as a kid, I've been able to do work on. Sesame Street was a big one to do stuff for. I think the only thing I haven't done from my childhood is like Garfield. I've never done anything official for Garfield. Or some of the toy lines that I like Strawberry Shortcake. I've never done anything official. We talked, Peanuts. Peanuts is the big one. I would love to do something official for Peanuts because that's such a big part of my childhood. So yeah, there's still stuff I'd like to do, but yeah, I've been able to work with a lot of the different brands, whether it's like one-off stuff or big lines or something like that. I've been very fortunate to do that stuff.
In tag scrolling, we were seeing like Willy
Golden
Wonka.
Girls is the one I kept seeing.
The Golden Girl tiki mugs are like, that's amazing.
So that I just kind of did as fan art initially, but then I worked with the company and they produced the actual cups and everything. That was great to see. It translated well to cups.
Put your stuff out there. You just never know what it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I want merch with stuff now. Like, so my probably my favorite movie of all time is Jurassic Park. And I'm now at seeing that you made some Jurassic Park characters and some Ghostbusters. And you just, my childhood is all being Goonies.
Goonies, yep.
E.T. Wow.
So that was for when I did shows for Gallery 1988, which was great because they let you do just about anything you wanted for that. So I did have an opportunity once to do a Jurassic Park assignment, I remember, and I had to turn it down because it was like literally the day before Thanksgiving. And I was leaving town and they're like, we need this by like the following Monday.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I have to pass on that. But I still wanted to do it because that's such a big franchise and always exciting when those things come up. Hard to say no.
Oh, I gotta stop looking. I'm just gonna keep scrolling and seeing more and more cool stuff.
You can probably just search. There's maybe something was done with some of the stuff.
Well, this Instagram, I'm warning our listeners now. If you go to Jerrod's Instagram page and just keep scrolling, you could spend a lot of time.
Yeah, there's a lot now.
Cool
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You were talking about earlier about kids being able to draw and everybody kind of starts. And I'm like, I have never really gotten past the stick figure phase of drawing.
Yeah.
You drew a mean character when we're in the animation academy.
Well, but that's different. That's like, that's like an animator, like almost like grabbing your hand and like drawing the things for you. It's like you're channeling that person. Like I couldn't sit down and replicate that. Without going through that process again.
Right. But I think the appeal is still the same. Like, and that Animation Academy is so popular. It's great to see. But I think it's just where your interest lies. And I don't think I'm necessarily a naturally talented artist, but I just love these things so much. It sort of propels me to get better at it or to do a very specific thing that I do with it. So it's not like, I love painting or I love something like that. It's that I love these characters and I love to be able to sort of recreate these characters. So I think it just depends on where your passion is because it is a lot of like just doing it over and over and doing it by yourself at home and wanting to do that more than most other things. It's like people with sports. Like I don't understand the obsession with sports where someone can spend so much time trying to get good at something that you're not going to play professionally or anything, but you're just so focused on that. It's the same kind of thing, I'd imagine. But like, it's so far from what I do. Like, I'm like, boy, that looks like a lot of work. But if you're enjoying the process, then that's the whole, you're lucky if you enjoy the process.
Do you do a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is like stuff that's like computer, like you use the computer as your tool.
Yeah.
Do you do stuff that's not computer as well? Or is the computer kind of like your zone?
Yeah, computer's definitely my zone. Adobe Illustrator specifically is the only program that I use for my art for the most part. And at the beginning, like when I went to school, it was everything. We had to paint, we had to draw, we had to do all that stuff. And it's great to have that as your backbone. But since working, professionally, you just had to churn out so much stuff that it has to be digital in order to be able to get it done. It'd be nice to be able to do like watercolors as sort of a hobby or a side thing, but you just don't have the time usually to be able to do that. So the digital stuff, and then it's just Adobe Illustrator specifically works great for merchandise in that it can scale up and down without any sort of degradation to the image. So I've just gotten very fast over the years using that program. So it's my go-to. And didn't like it at first, but love it. Absolutely love that now.
Well, I could see like with some of your stuff, since like it'll be, your artwork becomes a print type thing, how they can very easily do that when it's that way. One last question I have for you. We had talked about Festival of the Arts. Can you talk about some of the other in-person events that you get to do with Disney or, maybe just like little things here or there? Because I just think it's really cool that Disney has kind of embraced artists and the fact that it's not just, we'll contract you and here's your stuff on the shelf, but they also kind of bring you forward so people can actually see who it was behind these wonderful creations.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is thanks to Wonderground, because Wonderground, that was their whole thing, was to be very much having the artists interact with the customers. So they used to do a lot of in the gallery, they'd have the artists in residence who would be painting there the whole time, and you can come see and interact with them and see the art being produced and stuff. And so that just led to doing sort of these appearances, because like some of us that were digital wouldn't necessarily be able to do that in the store, but it was very much like having this connection between the artist and the customer and stuff like that. I think Disney always did it, but it tended to be much more celebrity focused. So it's like Marie Osmond and the dolls, she did new dolls. And so she would be there. But it wasn't until WonderGreen, I think, that they really started putting, nobody knew who we were. They were just drawn to the art and would come to these events and have us sign it and stuff. And they've certainly gotten better in recent years of having their own staff artists come out and stand before their work. Whereas most of the times you just get into the fold of the Disney artist and you don't know who designed that sweatshirt or that mug or that whole program. And so it's nice now that you get to see these people. So like someone like Steve Thompson, who has done this work for years, who designs a lot of the designer dolls, and he does all the Christmas ornaments as you've ever seen. To have him be able to stand in front of his work and say, like, this is my work, and that's great. I hope they do it even more, because I feel bad for these people who are doing exactly what we're doing, but they don't get asked to do autographing sessions or, appearances like that. So it's good to see that more of those people are coming into the fold of like the gallery work.
We talk about that all the time when we're in the parks. Like, there's lines of merchandise that come out. I'm like, whoever designed this, they need to do more, because like this is a great collection. Yeah. Sometimes, like anything, right? It's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people really like one design, and somebody will hate that same design. Yeah. But there's some stuff that just seems like it registers with a lot of people, and they're just kind of drawn to it. Like the collection of the sweatshirt I'm wearing right now, actually, was this like Disneyland, like this gold and black and kind of cream color thing. They had that on like a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, this is a good design. I like this. It's like kind of classy. It really focuses on Disneyland. Like, I don't know. It was just for me. But then there's other stuff that I'm like, why did they do that?
But then you see everyone wearing it.
It doesn't take much either, right? You're like, well, if that was red, I'd buy it, right? Yeah, I mean, everybody has that, and there's so much of it, and it's going to be new when you come back, and there'll be something else. And so, like for me, it's the Spirit jerseys, which I just think it's so interesting how passionate people are about Spirit jerseys, because I'm like, it's such an odd fit, it's it's oversized and baggy, and I don't like personally wearing them, but it's become such a thing and such a culture around it too. So you never know what's going to take off.
And they're expensive.
Always exciting to see. Yeah, they are expensive for sort of a bulky sweatshirt. Yeah.
There's one, this has nothing to do with anything. We're talking about clothes. There's one shirt that Disney has sold forever, and it's only in a youth size, and it is maddening. And it's like the icons of the park with like the paint dripping down, and I'm like, why can they not have this in an adult? I would buy this. I would buy 5 of these if they were an adult size, but all they have them is in youth, and I'm like, unfortunately, I can't even fit into a youth extra large. I always
like the youth stuff. Like when Gap does Disney stuff, I'm always like, oh, I want the kid stuff. The kid stuff they put out tends to be simpler and cute and like very direct and stuff. But it just depends on what. But I mean, it makes it more exciting when you do find something that you do like, right? You're very like pleased by it, and especially if it's something that everyone's not buying, because I tend to hate that too. Like you're like, oh, I like this T-shirt, and then you wear it, and you're like, oh, everybody's wearing this shirt. I mean, it's Disney. It's not like you think it's a secret thing, but like sometimes you'll buy it at Target, right? And you think, oh, no one's gonna have this shirt, and then everyone does.
Those Disney 100 shirts that you bought at Sam's Club. Like we went to the park. She bought one for her and bought one for me, and like you still have a couple other ones because they were like on clearance or something. And we went to the park, and like everybody was wearing them. You can't even buy them in the park. You bought them like out. It was so weird.
Yeah, I think that's why I like when you get stuff at like Tokyo Disneyland, and you can come back and wear it at Anaheim Disneyland and be all snooty about it and be like, oh, you can't get this here. Sorry.
Or if you see someone else that has it, then you're like in the secret club together because
right. Well,
and Japan, I know where you've been.
Japan does merchandise like crazy. Like what they put out is just amazing, and it makes what we do here so limited looking. When you go there and you see like the characters they use or the kinds of things, I will say they're better about merch than they are clothing. They don't do as much clothing there as we do here. So it's like they do 1 or 2 lines and then it's in every store. But like, the Marie is very popular there. It's like all these other characters that you just don't see as much here. They'll do whole lines around and they're everywhere. It's like in every store has like a Disney section. It's amazing.
Do you think it's just because like, is it just a cultural thing? Like that's just what registers over there, and over here, like it wouldn't sell as well, basically?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely that. And I think here we play it even more safe. Like people there buy so much stuff, it's very much a merchandise based like culture. Whereas here, I think people are like, they're fine with a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that. They don't need 10 of them. Some people do. And then I think it is like what you said about what's going to sell. So that's why I think it's something like, well, Stitch always sells. So there's always going to be a Stitch program or t-shirt that has Stitch on it. But then it would be nice when they break out into, I think, again, goes back to Wonderground. It was nice that we were able to explore other characters and things you didn't necessarily see everywhere. But yeah, I wish they'd lighten up and do a few more things. But I get it. If it doesn't sell and it's just going to that company D store, what's the point?
And we've talked about just like food in Tokyo. Like they always have like they have little Mickey glove like bow buns and stuff. And it's like, why can't they do that here?
I am still mystified that they have like hard-boiled egg that is cut in half and it's the
Mickey. Oh, the yolk is Mickey.
I'm like, that is magic right there. That
right, so simple, but I think they're getting better about it.
Yeah.
But they've still got a long way to go. Where I think we can do a lot more fun. Again, when you go to Japan, though, it's like an attraction line for the popcorn. You know, because they're so focused on the food stuff and the snacks that they do that. I mean, we do that here sometimes. They've gotten better about like the food festivals and like there's a new churro every time. But yeah, it'd be fun to see a little more playfulness with some of these things as opposed to just another churro every single time.
Yeah. If you were in charge of Disney Parks merchandise, is there a character or maybe a movie that you would want them to kind of feature or do something with?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's interesting. You know, so when you go to Japan, you do see more. And so like my hunt this time was 3 Caballeros. Like I love seeing the Caballero stuff and they do a lot of it over there. Like just in the regular mix of things. It doesn't have to be its whole program. It's just one of the characters they use. I'd love to see more of that here. And it seems like it would make more sense to even do it here, but we don't see a lot of that here.
Especially in Epcot. They have their own attraction.
They have exactly. And they have like one shirt that, you know, that they'll do. So something like that, or like one of the favorites of mine is The Rescuers. It was just because I saw that when I was a certain age, and that's like I think everybody has that one movie that they like that, you know, most people don't care about or something like that. I would love to see a program around that. I don't know that it would be hugely popular, but I would certainly buy it.
You just never know because like
that's right.
When I was younger, there's several Disney movies that I can think of that now that I'm older, I have like get so excited to see stuff on. Whereas then other people are like, we were at a show and we got to meet the person that designed the cover for the Black Cauldron film. And I was just so excited about that. And he was kind of like, didn't realize it was a thing. A Goofy movie is another good example of that.
That one
was
really,
such a sleeper, and then all of a sudden, it's just this big thing. And another recent one that I really enjoyed the characters of that's kind of come back around is The Sword and the Stone. Merlin and Madame Mim are such great characters. So I just love that they are kind of coming back to life in the parks. Actually, quite literally, since they have characters now with like Oogie Boogie Bash. Madame Mim's one of the treat trails. But then you're also seeing...
And Magic Happens with Merlin.
Oh, yep. Magic Happens with Merlin. And then you're also seeing more like merchant stuff with them, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, everyone has that movie, though, that they saw at a right age, or like your grandma had that one VHS, so you watched it over and over again. And, you know, that's your favorite movie now. Like, I get so many people who are like, why haven't you done Atlantis? I'm like, Atlantis?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you know, but every film has a following and, you know, you don't hear about them as much, but people are passionate about Brother Bear or Home on the Range or something, you know? So that's why, again, like going back to the thing of doing a collage, it's nice that you can drop in Chicken Little and you don't have to do a whole Chicken Little piece, but, you know, you can kind of address some of the fans of those other
have these little Easter eggs.
I love that you mentioned these 3 things that like, I totally think are kind of like obscure and weird because I worked in a movie theater for a while when Chicken Little and Home on the Range and all that stuff came out. And I remember thinking like nobody talks about those movies like ever really. We just
they have a fan base though. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We just did a thing in our chat to our supporters. One of our producers does like a character corner, and it was like a blurred out like Chicken Little.
Yeah. So what he does is it's color block, so it looks like it's almost like a paint sample, and so we have to guess the characters. And it was Chicken Little.
But there's people in the chat who are like, what is that? I've never even heard of that before. We're like, what?
I know. Or they think it's another studio or something. Yeah. You know, they think it's a DreamWorks or a Pixar film or something like that. But yeah, I still force myself to go see every Disney film in the theater if I can. You know,
force yourself. Is it that?
Well,
much
I mean, you know,
it's tempting now to wait because it comes.
Sure.
It's available so quick.
Exactly. So seeing it, I still get very excited. I mean, so when I would go see like Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, like these were like event films back then. Like I remember watching Beauty and the Beast in the theater, and it got all the Oscar buzz, and it was a big thing. Like at the end of the musical numbers, the theater would clap like it was a Broadway show or something like that. And it's like, that was so exciting to be a part of that, like theater going thing. So I still like to go, you know, theaters aren't full anymore. Like it's so rare to see a sold out movie if it's not a Marvel movie or something, but I still like seeing the animation on the big screen. So like, I even went back to see like Turning Red and Luca when they re-released them so that you could see it on the big screen and stuff like that. Like I like to support that because I think it's such a different experience seeing it in the theater. Yeah.
Well, and those two movies were so good.
They were.
And it's unfortunate that the pandemic kind of... Same thing with Onward. Like,
Onward,
that was the last movie we saw in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, the week before everything shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's too bad. And so that kind of scared me that there was this whole move to, like, they're going to release them on Disney Plus now. And I'm like, oh, that takes away a whole element of seeing these things. But, yeah, always good to see them on the big screen.
As somebody who worked in a movie theater, I still think there are things that, like, I still like the experience of going to the movie theater. And, like, our local, I'm sure you've had this in LA forever, but our local movie theater, shortly before the pandemic, got, like, the recliner chairs. And, like, and so, like, and that's such a great experience. And I don't know. I kind of, it's just, I like the experience of going to the movies.
I think, like, Alamo Drafthouse is great, like, for that kind of thing, because it's people who really want to be in the theater. Because I know, like, sometimes a casual movie theater can be kind of annoying where kids are talking or people are on. I can't believe how many people are on their phone in a movie. I'm like, so
with
it's
their
like
blaring light from the screen.
Exactly. Like they don't care. And, or like they have the theaters now where you can eat a meal, you know, where they have, and I find that very distracting. There's so much activity going on around you that, that can be a little distracting too. So it just depends on the thing. But I mean, seeing it on the big screen like that to me is the main thing. So whenever they release like the Ghibli films on the big screen, I've been doing all those when they come back. And I like that experience. So hopefully it sticks around.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, Jerrod, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we did not talk about?
What are your guys' favorite Disney rides? I'm sure you've talked about it on the show, and I don't know it, but I'm sure you guys have it ready to go.
Mine's the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, passionate group.
Yeah,
that's one of the hardcore groups.
Yeah. My story with the Haunted Mansion is kind of weird, and that might be why it's my favorite. I was terrified the first time I went on there.
Yep,
and
same.
I think because it like charmed me and won me over at the end, I think that's why it'll always have a special place in my heart. Plus the fact that it's like Pirates. It just has the layers upon layers. You can notice something different every time you go through it, which is
and
just
they keep
fun.
updating it.
And they keep making changes too.
Yeah. So my favorite is the overlay, which I know for hardcore Haunted Mansion fans, they get a little like,
I think
it's so long.
I think really the perfect world for me would be a park that has both.
Yeah.
Or if they just did a Nightmare ride separately, would be fantastic.
We had been talking prior to the revival of Toontown.
How
that would be so cool if that was
Halloween Town
back there.
I know. Or if they did like half Christmas Town and half, because I love the way they did Christmas Town on the film. It'd be great to see more of that. But anything Nightmare, I'd be all for its own dark ride or something. I think it deserves it by now.
For sure.
The problem that I have with the overlay is I love the narrator of the Haunted Mansion Holiday, but when I watch the original movie, I'm like, that's not the same voice. But I prefer the attraction one to the movie one. And I'm like, I don't like this.
So somehow
can they redub it?
Somehow the attraction ruined the movie for you then?
It's so, like, that's such a history to that, too, because, like, the soundtrack of Nightmare has a different narrator that does that opening than what's in the film, than what's in the park. And,
Great music, though.
Great
and I always forget how short of a movie that is. It's only like 68 minutes or something. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Great film, though.
This is where I turn into you and I go, I can't pick a favorite. When it's working properly, I really like Indiana Jones.
I was going to say it has to be Indiana Jones.
But,
if you're prefacing it with that.
Yeah, but I also think that I really like Big Thunder more than I like consciously am aware of, because I love riding it. And there's been a couple times where we've gone on a trip and like every time we walk by, like the lightning lane was really long, and which means the standby is going to be really long and all of that. So we've like skipped it a couple times, but I remember feeling like really sad about it later. And so like the last couple times I've been to the parks, I've tried to ride it multiple times per trip, just because, like, I don't know, it's such a great attraction. It's an older attraction now, but it's still like, you know, it's kind of like Haunted or Pirates. Like it's still a great attraction. Like it's timeless, and I don't know, I really like it. And I like I said, I love Indy. I think Indy has like the spectacle of it that's good. But yeah,
do you guys have a preference for park versions, like Haunted Mansion? Do you prefer Disneyland's over Disney World?
I do prefer Disneyland. I for sure the facade. I love the look of our mansion versus the others. But I do like some of the effects that they have in other ones. So like in World, how they have the staircases that are all over the place that look like ghost footprints are walking. Like I think I appreciate those, but for sure Disneyland's version.
Thunder Mountain, is there
best version of Thunder Mountain is Paris.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes under the river and everything. And like James and I, when we waited probably almost an hour for that. And we waited twice for it, and we agreed that it was worth the hour wait, because it's like the best version of that. I will say that I like that section in Disney World where the track kind of goes wampus when it goes along. I do like that a lot. Yeah. And for me, I like Haunted Disneyland, the outside.
I think so too for that. But like with Big Thunder, you have to sit in the back. Like it's such a depressing ride when you're in the front. It's the only ride where you're like, oh no, the front. It feels so slow. And
James crazy, because every time we get up there, I'm like, can we have the back row? And like they'll make it happen. Like cast members are great, but he's always just like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, but it does.
I think with that ride, even on Indiana Jones to a certain extent too, the back is very different than the front.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's the one time where I know I agree, the poor cast members, because sometimes they're a little eye rolly about, all right, just stand over there. We'll get you when we can.
I feel that way about I want to be in the front of the Incredicoaster as well. Like that actually isn't too bad anywhere you sit, like from like a thrill. But the front, you just kind of get, and actually
when you get that launch,
I'd like to make the argument that the best time to ride the Incredicoaster is in the front when it is raining lightly. I love the peltiness of the rain hitting me in the face as you're like shooting down the track. Everybody thinks I'm nuts, but we did that when we were there for New Year's 20 years ago at this point, and it was awesome. And I fondly think of that all the time.
I thought you were gonna say like at night, because that at
night it is better.
Very different.
Thunder is also better at night. Like
I think Disneyland at night in general, right? It's just a whole different park at night. Yeah.
I'm eagerly awaiting them to do another 24-hour day, because I will sleep during the day and I will stay up all night.
Be there for the dark.
When was that? Did you guys do that? When was the last time they did that? It's rough. It is rough.
Did you go?
I went to a few of them. I did a signing at one of them, and then we got to stay in the park.
So then you had to be like, bright-eyed and
but by like 3 I think it was about by 3 a.m. I was like, I think I'm good. Like people are just sleeping anywhere. They're like sleeping on benches and on the ground, and you kind of run out of steam at a certain point. I did definitely a young person's thing, because I think those grad nights do that, don't they? Don't they go overnight with the grad nights?
They go late.
Yeah, they go late.
So I can see that, but as an adult, like an older adult now, those are rough.
We used to drive. We would leave Northern California and we would drive at like 10 p.m. the night before, and we would drive all night down I-5, and then we'd get to the Mickey and Friends structure right when it opened, and then we'd go into the park. And I remember about like midday you'd start to kind of fade as like a late teenager, early 20s. And then we tried to do that when I was older, and we got halfway down there, and I'm like, we have to pull over because I need to take a nap, because I'm literally gonna kill us by falling asleep driving.
Yeah. You really need to be able to take a break or something. I mean, maybe when I was younger, but yeah, certainly not as an old person. I don't think I want to be there that long.
We always talk a big game now with our current trips that we love. We can't make it even to park close that often anymore,
Yeah,
because we're like, oh no, I think we'd rather go to bed and get up to do, rope drop next morning.
the difference is like I'm a night person and she's a morning person. So like if it was up to me, I would just miss park open and stay till close because I like nighttime better. But it's hard to argue with like the first 2 to 3 hours in the park of being able to get on so many things.
It's so magical.
Because I'm vehemently against Lightning Lane. Like I think it has destroyed the theme parks. And so like I refuse to buy it and I hate that what it's done. So anyway, I can go on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I mean, nothing ruins a standby line more than you see that queue getting long over there. And if it's long over there, then you're not moving anywhere.
You're standing still.
But we did use it in Japan for Fantasy Springs. And that's the only way, it's that or a 3-hour wait for that. So we did purchase that. But I think that's what it's for, right? If you're in the country and at the park for one day, you have no choice of like, well, we'll be back next week or next month or something like that. So I get it for those people. But I thought the fast pass system worked great.
When we've had to like use it for like it's different if you're limited. The thing is we're not limited, right? And I would much rather have a longer trip and not buy Lightning Lane than have a shorter trip and buy Lightning Lane. That's just my opinion.
That's true. That's true.
I do think it depends on the park too, because I like to always think I don't need Lightning Lane when visiting Walt Disney World, and then I get reminded, oh, this is not Disneyland. And I think it's because there's just so many visitors at that park versus Disneyland having so many locals at the park, so it's just a much different feel. And I always forget how like the saturation of attractions at each of the parks in Walt Disney World versus what we're used to for Disneyland. So I like, there's not as many attractions. Of course they're going to have longer wait times because there's not as many things for people to go spread out and do.
I will say the boarding group thing drives me crazy though too. I get it and it works and it's fine, but I find that so much more stressful than anything else.
You can't plan anything because they're like, exactly. You have an hour from when it pings you, and it's like, well, now I feel like I have to stay kind of near it, and I can't go sit down and eat like an hour-long meal because my luck will be late or we'll get stuck on an attraction or something.
That's the issue if you get it though. I think for me the anxiety is to build up to refresh.
Yeah, with that Star Wars land when everyone would just huddle in that, right past the gate because you have to be there at the beginning. Yeah. And then you just hear these random cheers from groups that got it, and you're stressing out. And then,
you were trying to get virtual queue for Guardians Cosmic Rewind, and she didn't.
Right. That was the other thing. I was like, oh, we've done this for Disneyland. I'm a pro. Again, Walt Disney World is not the same as Disneyland. So
it's just so panic. Funny. It's awful. And then it's like, it randomly all of a sudden says, oh, you need to log in again.
You're like, what? You're like, what happened?
I've been standing here for an hour hitting that button. Yeah. It can be stressful.
Or it's like, I clicked it right when it, it was 7. How are they gone? Or whatever.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, Jerrod, thank you so much for all your time this evening. But also, we have a last question for you, and I'm actually interested to see what your answer is.
All right.
So if you could work at Disneyland, what would you do? Sky's the limit. Can be any job, even one you make up.
I've thought about this a lot, and I would like to be like an old person that either just has to sweep, not a lot. I don't want to be in charge of a queue, I don't want to sell the food and stuff. Like, I like these rides, and I'd maybe want to do Small World for their outfit. I like their funny little outfit with the hat. But I just want to be someone that kind of answers questions or, sends these troubled people somewhere else. But then you can just have like charming conversations with people otherwise. It's like a host or something like that. Even like with what Philander does, that's a lot of work. That's tough. And you're dealing with all kinds of personalities and stuff, some I'm sure which are easier than others. And he was actually our guide when I did one of the tours.
Oh yeah,
he's great, and he is so perfect for that. He's got the best disposition, and he loves it too, and is so knowledgeable and stuff like that. But that's a performance that he has to do every day. And I wouldn't want to do it to that level. I just want to be the old guy that, you don't think will have the answer even, but I can say the bathroom's over there. Or, go to town hall and tell them about the problem
You're going to be like the unofficial like citizen or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's what I think. Like, I would just like to go and sit there on the bench or something like that and just enjoy the park. That even when I go now, it's like I'm never in a panic to get on rides or anything. I can go the whole time without going on a ride and just enjoy the park itself, especially at that like sort of dusk to night time and stuff like that. So anything that has me doing like that would be great, because I'm sure after working at the park, you'd get tired of aspects of it. Not being at the park, but or doing something after hours, like the gardening people that come in afterwards. Like to be that empty. Like I've been in the park once when it was empty like that, and it's just such a different feeling. And I would love that behind the scenes.
I do think it'd be cool to be we'll call them like a magic maker, where they're doing stuff that every guest is seeing and like interacting with, or maybe it's in the background of photos or whatever, but it's kind of behind the scenes to be doing that. And then kind of like what you like with your art right now, how you create it, and then you could be standing in the middle of a store where people are there buying your art, and they may not even realize that it was you. I think that's got to be such a cool kind of like I've got a fun little secret.
It's like you get the benefits of being sort of associated with Disney without the oppressiveness of sort of working for Disney and the rules that they have to follow and those kinds of things. Because it's tough, it's a lot of stuff you have to do. So that would be nice.
I believe it. Well, Jerrod, thank you so much for spending some time with us and chatting all about your career and all about, your time at Tokyo and everything in between. Where can people find you if they would like to go check out your work or follow you on a social media platform?
Oh, well, thank you guys for having me. This was fun. I haven't done this for a while, so it's nice to talk Disney with people. You can find me on Instagram is probably the best place. Sure. So that's at J Maruyama. That's where I post the most consistently and stuff. So that's the best place to go.
We will have the link in the show notes for that.
Great. Thank you very much.
Well, mark your calendars, Weekly Tears. We're just 2 weeks away from our next trip, and that means we are getting closer and closer to our next meetup, which will be on June 1st. Join us at the fireplace near the Tongariro Terrace at the Disneyland Hotel. You can grab some of the cool, fun new drinks we were just talking about in SnackChat, or some of the new eats. But we will be hanging out there from 3 until 5 p.m. Meeting you is one of our most favorite parts of our trips, really and truly. So we would love it if you would stop by and say hello.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, Chef. My name Raymond, and I hope them answers are bigger and better than this here back porch I got attached to me. Don't you know Evangeline and I wish y'all the best of luck.
Hey, we're back. Hello. Glad to see you again. Are you excited to be back in Trivia Land?
I'm not sure how I feel about Trivia Land.
I don't know. I'm excited to hear the answers, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the positive spirit we look for here in Trivia Land. Let's just get to your answers that I'm sure you're dying to hear. So our first question came from listener Daniel C., who asked, what company was the original sponsor and operator of the Market House on Main Street? Now, Daniel pulled this from Chris Nichols' 2020 book, Walt Disney's Disneyland. And the correct answer is the Chicago meatpacking firm Swift & Company.
What? Wow, we were not right. Not right at all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I was right on board.
That's a coffee place?
They operated the Market House.
Just because that maybe it wasn't coffee in the beginning. Yeah. Swift & Company, the meat packager, was the original sponsor.
Crazy.
Wow. They also sponsored 2 early Disneyland restaurants, Red Wagon Inn and Chicken Plantation. Look at that.
Huh. Oh, we learned something new.
Okay, so this is where we were thinking. We were still wrong. Later, the Hills Brothers name was established out front. So that was the coffee thought process you and I had going. But we were still wrong. Wow. That's amazing.
M was calling to you like meat packing, right?
Yeah,
that's what you were trying to think of?
Yeah,
I was thinking more that the M was kind of like, if you squint funny, it might look like an H for Hills Brothers.
Oh, right. Of course.
I will say between F and M is H, right? Like, so we're kind of like in between us. That's how it works,
Del
right?
Monte
Something like that,
and
yeah.
Sun Giant have also been sponsors. Look at that.
Weird.
Market House has gone through a lot.
Yeah, it has.
And now Starbucks.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move further down. My second question brought you to King Arthur's Carousel, and I was asking, according to the cast member we met there, what is the capacity on this attraction? You both missed. The capacity on this attraction is 96 people.
Okay, my 70 was closer.
And you're even closer because the cast members said they try to get at least 80 people on each time they operate it. So
not too shabby.
That was what I thought it was more for some reason.
Maybe,
right?
I bet 80 felt like a lot at the time, and so now that you're remembering it, you're thinking like a lot.
I mean,
so that's why
maybe.
And you were talking about earlier, I'm pretty sure the carousel is in 4s mostly. So you're looking at about 24 sets of 4 horses. You know, you got a couple of benches and other things scattered in there as well. But that's a lot of space to go around with all those. So.
According to the Disneyland Encyclopedia, Disneyland's carousel now has 68 hand-carved, hand-painted antique wooden horses arrayed in 17 rows of 4 each. There were 72 horses until one row of 4 was replaced by a bench in 2003, etc.
So then you've got the,
but
adding
then you got a
people
lot
on
of
the bench.
standers.
Yeah,
people
but
standing,
I'm just saying 68, and that helped us get us with the rows, because we had 17 rows of 4.
Yep.
Huh.
There you go.
Crazy.
I mean, if everyone's only riding on a horse or a bench, Teresa, your answer is really good then.
There you go. Yeah,
so you just forgot about all the standers. So
when you go,
that's true.
You remind me of like,
oh gosh,
was it in Muppet Christmas Carol where where Miss Piggy goes,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think she does that in multiple Muppets things, but yes.
Here's this. Oh, it's the daughters that are doing it. And then, and poorly dressed, they went, anyway, not the right season for this, but.
It's always the right season for Muppets.
Yes, always. All right, question 3. True or false, the Matterhorn used to be considered part of Tomorrowland?
I'm so curious about this.
The answer to this one, as best as I could find, is true, at least on the maps at a minimum. Because have you ever thought to wonder why the monorail wraps around the Matterhorn? One of them is, they opened at the 1959 as part of Tomorrowland, is what the rumor is. It didn't move to Fantasyland on maps until 1972.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting.
I think you're right, Teresa, that it probably deserved to kind of stand in its own little space.
Its own Matterhorn land.
Exactly. Just put some Swiss Alps or bring some gondolas over there. It'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question this week. Did you find me in the park? After enjoying a performance by Five and Dime, I head east down the street, but I can tell I'm already getting tired from all that vibing. So I take my first left from the path and find a place to my right to sit. Where am I? The full name of the place that I am at is the Hollywood Backlot Stage.
Woo!
You two found me, thank goodness.
I think we were just, we simplified the name, but we still found you.
You did find me. Of course, over there are great options like the Animation Academy, or I'm a big fan of PhilharMagic, so odds are I'd probably be in one of those in reality. But you take what you get.
Not sitting on the awesome benches by schmoozies?
I mean, I don't even think about those, to be honest. I feel like they're always taken.
They're so cool. I just love looking at them because there's all this random stuff. Like there's mosaics, but if you look at the mosaic, it's all sorts of random things that you will find hidden in the mosaic. Like maybe it's buttons or it's watches or it's, I think I've even seen like a toy car maybe. There's all sorts of just random. It's not just like broken pieces of pottery
they just took
or
random
plates.
stuff and just...
Yeah, but it's done in a really fun way.
We got to see if the Floyd Norman exhibit is still there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got. We did it. We made it through Trivia Land. We learned some things.
It was a bumpy ride, but we made it.
Hey,
bumpy.
Bumpy. And we get to see the full spiel, safety spiel again, too.
It's always a perk.
It's so good.
It's always good. So, but also good, listeners who send in trivia questions to producer Vern and I, because then we can ask some fun things that we don't think about. So if you have great ideas, head to our website and submit the form at dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And a special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal podcast companion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this episode? My scans indicate you have been a good weekly tier. Have a lollipop. Now excuse me while I let out some air. Goodbye.